Well, welcome Jill Salzman to the Branch Business Hub.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
Oh my goodness, everyone. I'm so excited to number one, just reconnect with Jill because we haven't seen each other in a few months.
I know.
And every time we get together, we could just talk forever.
We
So
could
we
do
promise
this
you this
forever.
will not go on forever. We promise that.
No, but I'm so thrilled to be here. Can you tell it's electric already? We just started. Yeah.
So, if you do not already know, Jill was the original founder of the Founding Moms, and she ran it for 13 years. And she and I have known each other for at least a decade of that
Yeah.
13.
Yeah.
And she reached out to me late last year saying she was looking to kind of shift her business life and focus more on her coaching and her speaking, which she was a rock star at. And she was looking for a new home for the Founding Moms.
Yeah.
And we at the Branch Moms were expanding into other locations and working on our new website. And so we decided to get together and figure that out. And in January, we announced that acquisition and we took over the Founding Moms community. It shifted to the Branch Business Hub. It basically is going to have many, many of the same benefits, many of the same things, but it was just kind of came under the Branch branding, and it actually helped us create the Branch Business Hub. Did you know that we didn't have that before?
Woo! You told me as you were launching it. I got so excited about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Very
it
smart.
helped us put our creative cap on and figure out what we wanted to do for that business community that we already had as a part of the branch to make it
Yeah.
special and to be able to put all of those benefits and all of those awesome things that you had created over the years on. Anyway,
Yay.
I wanted to kind of talk about that because
Yeah.
that's a big freaking deal, right? It's a big deal to run
It is a
something
really big deal.
that
Yeah.
was your baby and then say I'm going to move forward and let that go. So I want to ask you about that and ask you how did you make that decision and what did that look like?
It was not a quick decision because when you do something for over a decade, uh, it very much feels like your baby. And I think people throw that around, oh, yeah, my business is like my baby. But it really becomes another kid in your house that you take care of and nurture and grow. And I think it was a journey for me. Gosh, do I not like that word? But it really was the year before we all entered pandemic times, somebody approached me about acquiring the Founding Moms, and I had never considered it before. It was sort of out of the blue. And when I realized, wait, that's a thing, someone could buy my business, because all we're ever told is you need to be scalable, you need to be, making billions of dollars. It just never occurred to me. So
Yeah.
when this person started talking to me about acquiring the Founding Moms, I think that sort of lit the fire. And then we don't need to spend time on the fact that the guy was not cool and completely ghosted me. But then we all went into pandemic times, and I panicked a bit about the business, as we all did at the beginning of
Yes.
that. And
Yes.
then I thought, you know what? I think it feels like I have done what I can do with the Founding Moms. There is so much goodness that we created for so many thousands of women over the years, but I have come to a place where I now want to. There are a lot of variables that fall into this. I want to focus more on one-on-one relationships. I want to step away from just building a huge community that I got really good at doing, but
Sure.
it also got a little tiring. So
I don't know what you're
I
talking about, Jill. Not
yeah,
tiring at all.
I don't, and I realized I needed to break up with marketing in the biggest way. I needed to break up with things that were really not serving me anymore. And
Yeah.
when things weren't serving me, I couldn't serve the members anymore. And I think in hindsight, a lot of the members could start feeling me drifting away.
Mm.
Because as you know, when you run a community, people can feel what's happening. And so I realized this is getting louder and louder for a lot of people around me, not just inside. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to explore this, and explore I sure did. So I began just by talking to anybody who would listen and just saying, I'm thinking about this idea, partly to find out, like, is it the dumbest idea ever? Uh, Partly to find out who I could talk to. And so I began with massive corporations thinking they have major money. I should talk to them. And I ran into one girlfriend at one dinner who said to me, why don't you just talk to a longtime founding mom or colleague that you know who might be really into it and will take really good care of your members?
Yeah.
And guess who that was that I reached right out to?
Oh
So I know you can't say this on your own podcast, but Cathy has been such a rock star in business over the years. I'm speaking to the listeners. Uh, that I thought it was a no-brainer. I just knew you were going to take care of members the way that I take care of members. And I knew you weren't a giant corporation, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
And I realized after weighing a lot of things, I did for a moment speak to a broker about selling a business. And anybody listening that has a business, you can always talk to a business broker. They're always looking for businesses to sell. I realized that I could go spend years building up the founding moms even more, chasing a lot of money, and continuing to exhaust myself and burn out.
Yes.
I could move into what I was already doing for a lot of years, which was coaching, but really dive in as a professional coach and focus on people one-on-one in a way that I didn't have the time to do. So I am so happy you said yes. I feel like we're talking about the day we got engaged. I am so happy that you said yes. And then you and we worked pretty fast and we made it fly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think I asked you in September, October, and
Yeah.
let's, by December, we were done.
Yep. And
Right? Am I right?
it is behind the scenes. If you don't run a large moms community or a community of thousands and thousands of people, I don't think people truly understand how much goes into it that comes out,
Right.
as long as you're doing it well, it comes out like, oh, that's a beautiful new website. Or, hey, oh, you just acquired
Right.
another moms
Right.
community. Oh, you took over the
Yeah.
founding moms, right?
Yeah.
That's, I think behind the scenes, that was,
Yeah.
I mean, days and days and hours of, working through details and
Yeah.
what are we moving forward with? What are we not moving forward with? How do we, how does it all look? And
Yeah.
it's a lot of work.
It's a
Um,
lot of work. I'm glad you said that because 13 years of running a community and working too many hours, I don't even want to say it. I still got the question from a lot of people. Oh, so is this your full-time job?
right, right.
Like,
Yeah.
what
And
else do you think I'm doing?
right.
Yeah.
But, and as we peeled apart all things founding moms, I mean, there were
Yeah.
so many
So
parts of
many. So many.
so many. I mean,
So many.
Naomi, my COO of the branch, is making spreadsheet after spreadsheet of
I know.
this
I know.
benefit and how does that fit into the branch community.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
where the branch business hub came out. Like, hey, let's solidify an actual business component of it.
Yeah.
But sometimes we have to make these big decisions in business. And
Really big. And
you
they're
know,
really, really hard to make. I want to stress it because I feel like when you tell it in a little story, it
yeah.
just sounds like, oh, that was so easy for her. It's an extraordinarily hard choice. I think most of all because my identity was so attached to the founding moms.
That's a huge component of
Like,
it.
so you knew me as the founding mom. I
Yeah.
was the founding moms founder forever for everybody in my business sphere. And then
Yeah.
my family knew me as running the founding moms, my husband, etc. So you have to face the fact, like, who are you if you are not running
Right. Right.
community you built, right? And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people struggle with it, and that's what keeps them sitting in the same place for a long time.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and I think
Yeah.
when you decide to launch a business or start a business, there's one set of emotions you need to bring to the table, that level of risk, right? Anything
Yes.
you do has risk. Even what you
Yes.
did in this transition of, hey, I'm not stopping working. I'm still working with many moms that are
Yeah.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but my focus is going to be off building this community, and I'm going to kind of shift to the things that really light my heart on fire at this point.
Yeah.
I felt the same way with chiropractic. I have been a chiropractor now for 26 years, but I really don't see patients on a consistent basis and haven't for
Okay.
about 3 years. Now, a huge part of that was I tore tendons in my elbow, which was an overuse of adjusting for that many years and that many
Yeah.
people. And but I started similar to what you said of, I think that you said that your members might have felt you kind of disengaging a little
Yeah.
bit. The very first time I sat with a new patient, and in my mind, I knew I wasn't all in that moment. I
Mm.
thought, I this is not fair.
Yep.
And as soon as that clicked in my head that
Yep.
I would rather be working on branch stuff because for some reason that's where my passion
Yeah, of
is right
course.
now, and I just love it so much.
Yeah.
And I can still run my practice. I have awesome doctors that work in my practice. We have awesome
Right.
therapists. We have a functional medicine practitioner. I'm still
Right.
a part of the practice, but the actual day-to-day showing up and adjusting all the patients, I had somehow lost a little bit of my focus in that, or my
Yeah.
passion for that. Not that I don't love chiropractic because it's incredible, but
Right.
once you feel that, I think it's really smart as a business owner to dig into that.
Yes, I was about to say explore.
Yep, yep. And be like, why am I feeling this way?
Mm,
Because in business, if you're not all in, it's not going to be what you wanted it to be. And it's not going
correct.
to be everything that it could be. And the client or
Yeah.
patient or person or company that you're working with is not going to get the best of you.
Right.
And
It's
so,
it's just you're not serving your clients anymore in a way that you need to say, hey, I need to step back, or I need to do this a completely different way if you're not going to all but leave the thing. And I was
yeah,
about to say quit, but it's not really quitting.
no,
I mean, I guess
not,
technically speaking it is, but it's just finding a new place for you, a new chapter. Everybody's got a new name for it. Who
yeah.
knows? Wherever you
Well,
want to
and I
go.
don't think it's ever quitting if you feel in your heart that it has run its course for you and your skill set. I mean, I
Yeah,
think about Cafe and Play. I owned a coffee shop and Playtown for kids. After
yeah,
years, it just wasn't financially doing what it needed to do.
right,
There
right.
was chiropractic changes in insurance that was taking away, like a lot of patients weren't coming in because their deductibles went from like 500 to 5,000. And so we lost a lot of patients. So the extra money I was
Oh,
making at the practice that was covering the loss at Cafe and Play. And I had to make a really big decision to
yeah.
close. And you talk about the identity part. It was like I built that business out of my brain, right? I went to
Yeah,
Williams and picked out the five main colors.
yeah,
I designed every inch of what should go where and
yeah.
what do we, and so it was a loss. It was also a huge relief.
Mm,
Strange how you can have both of that, right?
absolutely, absolutely. I like that you let yourself into that loss
Mm-hmm.
because that's something that entrepreneurs are famous for just running right over. And it's a massive loss. And I think there's like you have to feel good enough about the decision to go forward with it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the loss is too great, and then you feel like you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about the day that you announced that you were stepping away and that the branch had acquired you. How was that day for you?
That was what was happening in my brain. Uh, I think I leaned way into relief.
Yeah.
I was really excited because it sounds really trite when I say it in a little interview, but I really did want my members to be in a great place, to have a
Yeah.
home with somebody like you. Really meant the world to me because if you build a community for 13 years and you're not like a billionaire, you're doing it because you really want to support people.
Yes.
And so I was thrilled to be able to announce it to you. And I think I leaned more into relief than loss because I had been doing this journey for 4 years and
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to get there. And because I got there and I guess succeeded in a way in being able to hand it off where it didn't just crumble and I didn't just close it,
Yep.
was so relieving and exciting. I loved it. And then I think a few weeks in, I went, huh, that was a long time that I ran that business.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of my heart and soul that I poured into it. And as you said, I love that you said that. I created all that content and all those resources that I sent you,
Yes.
like out of my brain,
Yes.
and it was definitely way too much, but it was a lot of creation that I realized, well, that's probably the biggest loss going forward. That no matter what I do, I'm not going to create in the same way because I know a lot of mistakes were made, but I'm not going to go back into that career. I wouldn't have left it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be doing that the same way. And who doesn't love to create, especially if you run a business?
So
So,
I love to create. And I think I get
Yeah.
bored if I'm not creating. And so, or doing
Yeah.
something different, right? I think now I'm 25 years into my business life, which is a quarter of a century. Like,
Don't say it that
dude,
way. Don't say it that way. Yeah.
that's a
Don't.
long time. But the amount of mistakes I have made are, I mean, you're like
Astronomical.
stacked them on the floor and up they go really, really
Well,
tall.
that's the mark of a true businesswoman is you don't really care to admit that. Like it doesn't matter to you because you know we all do that. Yeah.
But I tend to lean into my mistakes and try
Mm.
my best to own up to them. I made a mistake with the founding moms right off the bat, and you know exactly what this is.
Oh, oh,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
we were so busy with our launching into different states and different
yeah,
locations, and we launched our national e-newsletter, and we were so excited. And members that were on your email list were going to
yeah,
get this. We were so excited. And we had already announced the acquisition on our social media and
yeah.
things like that. But if you weren't paying attention that day or that week, you might have missed it. And so I realized at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night, because that's, of course, when the
Oh
mistake came out.
no.
It was, oh my gosh, we sent out the branch national email to
Yeah.
your list without ever sending them an email saying hi.
Introducing yourselves. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I woke up the next day and I was like, oh, I text Naomi and I was like, oh, we made a mistake.
Yeah.
So I wrote out this email just saying, I think I called it, have you ever done something backwards?
I loved that because I bet you not many noticed, but yeah, it was
Well, but it just,
fantastic.
what's
That
not
was like the
going
best
to
way to
do?
introduce yourself. No, I know, but it was like if you had a choice, you would have done it differently. But it was
Yes.
a lovely way to say, hey, because you were carrying the torch of my constant admitting that I make mistakes and I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, so that was fantastic. How did it feel like a win for you when we announced the acquisition? Was it
Oh, yeah.
okay?
Oh, yeah. It's funny because I had lots of friends reach out that knew you or were founding
Oh,
moms saying, oh
oh,
my gosh, this is the best. I love both of you. What a great
yeah,
combination,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure you got those
Oh,
messages
yeah.
too
Oh,
of
yeah.
love and
We
support.
both got a lot of high fives, particularly on LinkedIn. I feel like we both got to see them. It's like, I
Yeah.
love that partnership. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
so I think, when something feels like the right fit, it feels like the right fit. And
I
and
agree.
like you said, the loss part of it, which is truly there, is lessened if someone else is going to, with their
Yes,
own heart, that has a heart of service and a heart of taking care of and
absolutely.
helping and providing good resources, right?
Yeah.
That you did have faith in what I was going to be able to do.
Yes,
And
absolutely. And
and it
then
was fun.
some.
I got a bunch of emails back from that email we sent. Like, thank you. So this was such a great email to get. Like,
Yeah, totally.
someone wrote back
Totally.
something about, I feel a part of your community already, or something. I can't remember the word she said. I was
Oh,
like,
I love
"Oh,
that.
that's
Yeah.
so nice,
Well, good people meeting good people. Yeah, that's
Yeah, good
great. It's
people
the
meeting
best.
good people.
And I do want to throw in that I am not saying this, and I want to make sure because I know some listeners are like, well, I don't run a community, even though Jill and Cathy do. This is the second business I've sold. The first one I sold was a baby jewelry business.
Oh, that's
And
right.
I sold it to a woman that I barely knew. I had met online when I decided to sell it. And she immediately ran it into the ground. I
Oh,
didn't know her from,
no.
Adam. What's the
Yeah,
expression?
sure. Yeah,
And so this entire experience was so different and wonderful, knowing that it was going off to somebody that wasn't going to run it into the ground. That just had an interest in a way, not just in the company, but in me as the person that created it. You were so
yeah.
incredibly kind in repeating, I know how much you put into this. I know how much you put into this, which I didn't get the first time around. So thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
you're welcome. I'm glad we created a different experience because that is
Oh, me
important.
too.
And it's
Really important.
interesting in your business life when you get far enough along where you have those somewhat similar situations. You're like, wow, that went really differently this time
Yes.
than that
Yes.
time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, all
Yeah.
right. So now you make this decision, you and I collaborate, we do the acquisition, right? We're moving
Yeah.
forward with the branch business hub. Let's talk about what excites you right now and what are you doing to take your business to the next level for this next chapter
Mm.
of your life?
I feel very silly saying this out loud, but I have never been more excited about working one-on-one with people, which I never did before.
Really?
Uh, I mean, here and there,
Yeah.
but I have moved into a full-time coaching business, and I know coaching is a funny, fuzzy word for a lot of people, myself included. But my favorite thing on planet Earth now that, I have a lot of hindsight and I've built three other businesses and sold two of them, I get to sit with business owners and walk them through what they think is going wrong in their business and
Yeah.
helping to figure out and support what's really going on, and sort of not redirecting, but helping to support them in moving forward in a way that so many business owners are stuck. So I'm sort of digging deep into all of the problems that happened to me
Yes.
and being able
Yes.
to essentially pay it forward.
It's so interesting you bring up the word coaching. I have another very good friend that I've known for 2 decades, and she is
Yeah.
now doing coaching. And when I met with her and she told me she was going to move on to it because she'd been in a lot of high level executive positions
Hmm.
and didn't want to do that anymore, wanted to work for herself, doesn't need to work
Yeah.
full time. And she almost was apologetic about saying she was a coach,
Oh, I so get it. I get it real hard. I
right?
do.
And so
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you from my perspective, 10 years ago, 20, 15 years ago, when someone
Yeah.
said they were a coach, it was like, okay, you're a coach, right? For some
Right.
reason, there was a
Right.
kind of like 20 years ago when I told people I was a chiropractor, there was a lot of people like, oh, that's cute. So you're not a real,
Really?
oh, yeah. The difference
Oh,
25 years ago when
interesting.
someone said, oh, what kind of doctor are you? If they knew I was a doctor, and I said a chiropractor, probably only 20% responded positively, and 80% were like, oh, okay. And
Oh,
now
Kathy, that sucks.
well,
Huh.
what was it? It was what it was. But now,
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
say, oh, I'm a chiropractor, it's 80-20. Every once in a while, I still get oh, okay.
Hmm.
And then most of the time, be like, oh my God, I love my chiropractor.
Yeah. And those are all
Right.
from the surgeons. Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
So I would say,
Yeah.
I believe that word has shifted. I believe that that word now means something very powerful and that people
Ooh.
understand that sometimes you don't just magically have the people in your lives that have the business sense and the experience and the knowledge that you
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
And when we're in business, I graduated from chiropractic school in 1998, knowing how to do adjustments. I did not know how to run a business.
Yeah.
Right. And so all of that was by fire. Oh, we need to figure out payroll. Oh, we have to, make
Right.
enough money for rent. Like there was
Right.
and there's marketing and there's networking
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
mean, the things that a business owner has to do, so few of those things are normally in their wheelhouse or
Yeah.
something that they have learned. So some of us have had the opportunity to have incredible mentors, right? Friends of ours that have been, ahead of a business and for 10 years that can share information for free. But many people don't have that opportunity. And the
Yeah.
advice from someone who has been there, done that, done the
Yeah.
right things, made all the mistakes, knows the ins and outs
Yeah.
of things, I think it's so valuable. And I think more and
Thank
more
you.
people see that as, oh, that's something very valuable.
Yeah, that's my sincere hope between you and Ted Lasso. People have a really, really good
I love
idea of
Ted
coaching. I
Lasso.
think, me too. And
Oh,
I think there's a very low barrier to entry for coaches. And
yeah,
so, as somebody who ran a community for moms, I saw a lot of coaches come through. And not to speak about the ones that were just new, so they didn't really know what they were doing, but there are a lot of bad coaches out
yeah,
there who espouse terrible, terrible things. And so when I say I'm a coach, I don't know who I'm talking to. And did you have an experience with one of those people?
yeah.
That said, I don't care anymore. I love it
Woohoo!
so much. And
Yes,
I think I am now, what's that expression? I'm losing all my expressions today, where people do the thing that they most needed to learn. And I most needed to learn for the last 20 years that I didn't need to reinvent the wheel and I didn't need to keep on being so stubborn about doing that thing that wasn't working, all of that.
yeah,
I now get to see in other people very quickly and sort of say to them, if we just shift this or what about tweaking this, uh, it makes my job easier, more rewarding, and fun. A
yeah.
lot of fun. Love it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Love
So
it.
if you look at the clients that you have seen and the coaching clients that you've helped, is there something that jumps out pretty quickly very often? Like, is there something that
Yeah.
people are doing wrong? Is there like a number
Yeah.
one or number two or like top couple of things that you think someone listening to this podcast
Yeah.
with their own business needs to dive into?
I mean, well, what I'm not seeing, so I'm going to throw in an answer you didn't ask. I'm not seeing people who resist coaching, period, because
Mm,
they can do everything themselves, which I'm going to point the quotes at myself because I'm the one that did that as well.
yeah.
But when I meet with a client, if there's one commonality, uh, I'm going to generalize now and say that everyone has some kind of assumption that they make that they are confident, sure, is real in real life. And that's the thing that they can't work around because they believe it so hard. And so when I
Yes.
say like, is that really true? And they have to think and be challenged and go, you know what? Maybe it's not true. It opens up a portal and they then can dive in and go conquer whatever they need to go conquer.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
we all, every single one of us, self included, everybody has assumptions that are so limiting that you don't even realize they're assumptions because it feels so real.
Yes.
So you can't get yourself out of it.
And I would say for myself, I've had things where I I don't love charging people for anything. Like
Mm,
I really want to
okay.
just help people. And the first
Yeah.
business coach I ever saw, which was a part of the Leadership Institute that I did through the Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce. And
Cool.
as a part of that, you got like a session with a coach. And I went to him and said, "Hey, one of my biggest challenges, I hate charging people." And he looks at the chart of whatever form, whatever system I had filled out for a
Yeah.
personality business test or something like that. And he's like, "Well, I will show you exactly why that is. Here,
Ooh.
here is on your chart from 1 to 100 of your desire to help people." And it was like off the charts. Here
Yeah.
is your desire to make money, like how much money
Yeah.
influences,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was really low. He's like, "So
Yeah.
when I see someone that money is not their driving factor for being in business and they altruistically truly want to help people,
Yeah.
every single one that has that combination struggles with charging people or charging
Right.
enough."
Bingo. Nailed it. And most of the women that I speak to, and I definitely have male clients that have this issue, all carry the same thing because not only do you not maybe have an interest in money because you just want to help people, but societally, we're all taught to be really nice, Mrs. Nice Guy. And
Yes.
if you charge, it's offensive. If you charge, it's going to put people off. If you charge, it's bad in some way. And
Yeah.
I think we're all so ingrained with that that's one
Are.
of the many that we get to work on and kind of talk about also add to that recipe everybody's money crap. Everybody's got a money
Yes.
story that is
Yep.
different and
Yep.
not helping. And so shifting all of this kind of thinking is the thing. And I find it fascinating that the other commonality I can think of right now is a lot of people will come to me and say, so I need to get more clients, or I need to do a marketing campaign, or I need to get better at Instagram. Can you teach me how to do that? And sure, I can show you the how to 1, 2, 3 step situation. But if you don't have the right thoughts going, you're never going to understand how to make more money, no matter what changes on Instagram.
Yep. Yep.
So
You can
it's
make Instagram look as pretty as humanly possible, but if you don't have your mindset and the direction and
yeah,
kind of the right thing to be selling or sharing
yep,
or service,
yep,
right? If you're not on the right track, you can have something look really pretty on Instagram, and it's just never going to connect.
correct. Yeah, exactly. So
And I think
yeah,
for the, we go back to the word coaching. I think the same thing is true, is that someone that's going to put themselves out there as a coach that truly maybe shouldn't be a coach. I'm just going to say
have the
he
experience. Let's
doesn't
say
have the
that
experience,
way.
right?
Yeah.
They may have been told by, number of people that they're very wise or they give good advice.
Mm,
Kind of like photographers too. Like sometimes there's so many
yes.
photographers that we're told they take good pictures. Um,
Right.
and then not that there's anything wrong with it, but if you don't have the true skills to help someone, you're never going to excel in that way. You're never going to get that word of
Right.
mouth referral,
Yeah.
right? It's going
Yeah.
to come as naturally to someone like yourself who you've been there, you've done that, you've
Right. Right.
gone through all the muck, you've come
I
out.
don't even like to say that. I just have screwed up enough times that I know how to help you not screw up so many times. Yeah, that's really it.
Don't screw
Yeah.
up coaching.
Oh my God. All right. Yeah. No, no, we're further along now, and I definitely will, but it's happening less frequently. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. No, the screw ups will continue to happen. You know,
Always. Always.
if you don't mess up or you don't make mistakes, then you're really just not pushing as hard as you could, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're not doing as much as you are intended to
Yes.
do. So tell me this, because for me right now, I feel as if, and this sounds so cheesy, it really does. I
I'm
feel
gonna
like
love it.
I was kind of put on this planet to run the branch. I feel as if
I
my
love
skill set,
that. That's
I
not
could,
cheesy.
it sounds a
That's
little
not
cheesy,
cheesy
like
at
I
all.
was put
No.
here, I was placed. But I feel like everything I've gone through in my life, from my mom leaving when I was 17 to the
Mm,
divorce stuff I went through to financial, bankruptcy, divorce stuff at all at the
yeah.
same time. The things that I've gone through in my life have put me in a place to be able to take in some of the negative that comes your way when you run a
Sure.
community,
Of
because
course.
that does happen.
That does happen.
And then just the stamina it takes to repeat things over and over and be consistent,
Right. Right.
and to answer all of the emails and all of the messages,
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
the texts, and all of there's probably like at this point 47 different places I need to check for messages. And I'm not joking. I mean, we run like,
Wow. There are a lot of platforms out there now, and I think you run on a lot of them.
so
Yeah.
anyway, do you feel that you've stepped into a space that you're just connecting with on a higher level than you have for a while with your work?
Do you mean connecting on a higher level with God? What
Oh,
does higher
no,
level
no,
mean?
with yourself. Well, I mean, God, the universe, with
Oh,
yourself. Like, do you feel like, oh, I'm in the right place at the right time?
oh, I always feel that way.
I love
No
that.
matter what I'm
I
doing,
love
well,
that.
here's the thing. I think I'm not understanding the question because everything I choose to do is right for the moment where I am.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, if I'm miserable, I'm the first person to say, I'm out of here. So I think I became less enticed by doing the same stuff for 13 years. I needed a break. So
Yes,
I'm now in a place where I decided I'm going to go into coaching and I'm going to do almost no marketing. I'm going to do, I mean, I did every kind of content creation imaginable
yes, you did.
before. And I now have a newsletter and I do podcast interviews. And that's all. And I don't post on Insta anymore.
Yeah,
I I just closed my Facebook account.
yep. That's
Crazy. So
that's
it's
awesome.
insane. It's insane. But it's allowed me to sort of really focus, which is a first. I have never
Yes,
really focused on anything because I was such a creator
yeah,
that I am now so drilled in. I think there will be a time where I come out of it and get more back into things I know well.
sure.
But I am loving where I am right now because
Yeah.
it's sort of like a work hiatus, but I'm still working and making money, if that makes any sense.
I do,
Yeah.
Justin, my husband, works with me, the branch. He left corporate America 3 years ago to come join forces with me, which has been unbelievable. He's like
That's so awesome.
business coach, inspiration, sales coach. He also like runs around to our business partners and picks up their items to put in our goodie bag, right? Like it's kind of
Oh,
like
he's amazing.
he's amazing, right?
Yeah.
We were joking the other day that I think I would have to hire 7 different people to do 7 different things if
Oh, I
he
love
wasn't a
that.
part of the branch and just a part of my
Yeah.
day-to-day life. But
Yeah.
I think it's really important. I talk about going with, kind of with the grain, right? You're not fighting against a current anymore.
Right.
And you're going with the flow. And for me, my flow works really well with the team I have. I could never do it
Yeah.
for myself. But
Right.
as I keep getting older in business, let's not say it that way. As I keep getting wiser,
Wiser.
there
Wiser.
you go.
I like
What
that we said at the same time.
what
Yeah.
I'm trying to do is keep delegating the stuff that is not me in my perfect flow.
Yes, that is such a good lesson for people because Well, I'll speak for myself. It took way too long to put a team together. It was, in fact, a dream of mine to put a team together
Ah,
and to get rid of all the things. If you know that it's not your zone of genius, I'm
yes,
going to give it to my VA or I'm going to give it to my book, whoever. And
yes.
I dreamed of it for years, and then I finally started putting the team together. And I will tell you, of all of the things I'm most relieved by, it's to no longer run a team. How funny is that? Yeah, I like, and I handed off my team to you. You know how incredible they are.
They
I had
are.
the best team who did like they did everything ever that I wanted. I was just done managing people. I just wanted to
Yes,
work with them. Yeah.
yes, yes.
So
I mean,
that's not something I thought I would ever say, ever, ever, ever. That's how much I wanted a team. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Well,
of
and I could not do what I do without a team, but
course
managing
not.
a team is not easy,
It's its
right?
own thing. Yeah. And you're
It's all,
very good at it. You're
well,
very good at it.
well,
Yeah. So
I
yeah, of
appreciate that.
course. Yeah.
I've got a great team, and we added some of
Yeah.
your peeps to our mix, and so I'm super excited about that.
Yeah.
And man, it's just you kind of have to make it up as you go along a little bit.
A
Um,
lot of it.
a lot of it, yeah. I remember
Yeah.
when we changed from Naperville Moms Network to the branch, my best friend Emily said, "So what is your what is your goal for the branch in 5 years?" And I like literally like made me just step back, and I thought about it for a while, and I said, "I just don't have one. It's too far away.
It's too
Things
far away.
change too much, right?"
Yeah. Agreed.
And
Agreed. I
I
hate that
think
question.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think in
Yeah.
business, like, I know what we're doing in the next 3 months, but I truly don't have a
Yeah.
plan for after that. And I think it's been drilled. Well, you have to have the 1 year plan and the 5 year plan, and everything's all laid
I
out.
have to tell you, I'm 4 businesses in. I've never had one ever, 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 ever,
Me neither.
ever,
No,
ever.
me neither.
I've been fine. Everything's fine, everybody. Never. I don't like it because to me, that's too limiting.
I agree.
If
And
I said that to you, I'd be, no.
I also feel like it allows me to not think about listening, constantly listening, right? Because you're going to hear something from your client, you're going to hear something from your friend,
Mm,
you're going to hear something from the business community, right?
yeah,
That oh, that's something I should tap into because that's kind of what's happening right now, or that's the
right,
need right now, or
right.
we had
Yeah.
so many posts on our community group in our Naperville branch group about divorce, and it was like so many. And so I
Oh,
finally was like, let's break off the branch divorce moms group. And
beautiful.
that grew really quickly. We actually have
Yeah.
our third mom social, divorce mom social tonight. But that grew up very quickly because it was such a need. So if you're listening, then
Hmm.
you can create for
Hmm.
the need. If you have a 5 year plan and it's not on that plan, I feel like you just kind of wasted all that time and energy trying to come up with a 5 year
Yeah.
plan.
And
Now,
no,
I'm sure
yeah, your divorce group was not on the 5 year plan you would have answered about 5 years ago. Yeah.
never, never. And I think you would probably get people that are in our space in a different way as a coach that would say, that's not true. That's not right. You should have a
Well,
five.
I think we are speaking from our own experiences, and I think
Yeah.
there are for sure people who are more goal oriented for
Yes.
whom having the 5 year plan keeps them in line.
Yes.
I
Yes.
kind of I liken having a 5 year plan to having a religion or a guide of any kind
Yeah.
where it keeps you on the straight and narrow. And if that helps you,
True.
then
Yes.
go for it.
Yes.
Create that, stick to it. I think you and I are more nimble and we just don't fly like that. That's
Yeah.
just not
That's a really good point. That it's not for anyone. It just isn't for me
right.
and how I
Correct.
or you
And
and
I
how you.
can't stand when those experts will tell you, yeah, oh, well, you need to have the 5 year plan and you need it's
Do they
you
always
don't
do this at the
they
same
do
time?
always, always with their arms going like that. Yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh. All right, my friend. On that note,
Yeah.
I would like you to share a little bit about what you're doing with some of your retreats. I think you have something called Work It coming up.
Yes, I do. We just finished the Worth It retreat, and I am launching one of many cohorts. That is, you can call it a mastermind, you can call it an accountability group, but it's a 4 month program where 8 business owners meet every 3 weeks, partly for the expertise that I and my co-founder, runner, leader, Melissa Ford,
Yep.
incredible coach. She is my coach, and she has 20 years on me in terms of coaching business owners. So we've come together to run this group, and it's going to be extraordinarily fun and marketing free.
That's
It's a marketing
awesome.
free zone. That's what I like to
Yes,
say.
yes.
Yeah. And so if folks are interested that are listening, you can go to jillsalzman.com and, find Work It, because we're going to work it.
You're gonna
And
work it.
if you're one of those business owners that's like, well, I'd really like to talk about it for a while and theorize about it and pontificate on what it could be like if I do that, this is
Yeah,
not for you, because we're
no.
actually
Right.
going to do the work.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and we're all going to make more money. We're all going to grow our businesses, and we're not going to focus on Facebook or Instagram at
Yes.
all.
That
Yeah,
well, and we live, I live in a Facebook and Instagram world,
I
so
know,
it
I
is
know.
it is part of my world still. Who
It
knows?
is part of everyone's world, and that doesn't mean you shouldn't be in there. I just mean that's
Yeah,
not what we're going to focus
I
on.
know. No, I'm just
Yeah, yeah.
it sounds like a really nice like vacation to not be a part of
Oh, yes,
it.
yes.
So I'm very
I
happy for
understand.
you.
I
You're
understand. Thank you.
broken
Thank you.
free. You're
Yeah,
broken
yeah,
free.
yeah. Totally, totally.
All right.
Yeah.
So the website
Yeah.
again is
Jill Salzman, JillSalzman.com.
okay. That's awesome. And you will have more. I know that starts in June.
That starts in June, runs to September, and then we will announce when the next one starts, somewhere in the
Okay.
middle there. Yeah.
All right. So if you listen to this and you've missed that already, then reach out to Jill, check out her website, and we
Yes.
will have something coming down the pipe.
Come on
Oh,
in.
yeah,
Yeah.
come on in. All
Yeah.
right, my friend. This was so
Thank
fantastic.
you
Thank
so
you.
much. I love this. It always flies with you. Yeah.
Seriously. It's like all of a sudden I
Thank
look
you.
down, I'm like, oh my gosh, we gotta
I
go.
know. I'm so sorry. Yeah. All right.
All
Mwah!
right. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Bye.